What's up, everybody? I'm Brett Medlock here today with Jake Roach and Greg Bargas. They just played the Resident Evil 7 VR experience. What'd you guys think about it?
I thought it was Naughty America that we were doing right now.
That's a scary Naughty America.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, Greg mentioned while we were demoing that the depth of field really added to the experience, and when you put on the headset, it's just kind of insane how much just seeing the room can be so terrifying, all broken down and everything.
Yeah, one of the things I saw was, like traditional Resident Evil games, you walk down a hall, you might see somebody standing in the distance, but when you're scared because you're so close to them to approach them, it just added like a different layer to the game. Like there was so much depth that you saw, like with the objects in the room, whether it was like a creaking cabinet, the floors, slamming doors, the dolls that we saw hanging from the ceiling. It was just crazy to go up close and see those.
Yeah, and I mean, to be clear, not a whole lot of stuff actually happened in the demo either. It was mostly just walking around and exploring, but just that alone was so tense, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Go ahead.
Like one of the parts, like we had to put in a VHS tape and then watch it afterwards, and it kind of like immersed you even more into what you were experiencing. And even something as simple as like a VCR, I don't know if you know what that is, Brett, but it's where you watch a movie. But like even something as simple as that, how they implemented it into the game was, and the way they did it was just different. It was different than any other Resident Evil game. It was a new experience.
Overall, it seems like a whole different take on the Resident Evil franchise. It's not really like anything we've ever even seen before. The closest thing they've had to this is revelations in first person while you're aiming. Like,
yeah,
that's the only thing I can think of.
And that doesn't like even do the game justice. There's no, it's hard to describe it because you can't really experience it until you're actually in it. So it's hard to compare it to other Resident Evil games, but I can tell you it's not like any of them, really.
It's, if anything, I had to compare it to, it'd be like Outlast on steroids. Like it was just
Sounds terrifying.
yeah, it was just the whole thing. It wasn't like Resident Evil at all, but you know, as the game progresses and it expands, that they implement the puzzles and tense moments and stuff like that, you know, probably see more of the game kind of progress and grow.
Yeah, even something like one part we picked up bolt cutters,
Yep.
and for you to feel the controller vibrations and, you know, undoing this cabinet, and just like simple tasks like that, just add, instead of just you open the cabinet or you open the door, like you actually see your arm open the door and you're apprehensive to go through it.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
One of the things I can remember is when we were playing, I was talking to the people there with us, and there was this segment where I thought I saw something, and I was standing in this room, and I kept feeling reluctant to leave the room. Remember, I was trying, and it was an actual feeling of terror being in that room, because you know that something's out there, and just being right there and hiding in a corner felt like you actually were there hiding in a corner from this thing that you don't know.
I know you said that after you experienced this, you felt obligated to get online and check the prices for VR.
Yeah.
So that's really good. That's a good sign.
Yeah, the only thing I'm concerned about is it was a tech demo, and I mean you can see small textures that are noticeably not up to par with like most other VR games out there. And even like looking at the other characters you were interacting with, like the backs of their heads were a little grainy. But I mean the rest of the room, like when you walked up to the fireplace, it wasn't like pixelated or grainy. And looking up even at the ceiling and looking at this old rusted ceiling fan with spider webs on it, it was, I'm still like wondering what direction they're gonna go in. Like at least they're showing what the possibilities are for the upcoming, you know, game.
And I also have heard they did show some type of gameplay that was within a person, and that did have a person in third person.
Yeah, I saw something about that.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Considering maybe the regular version of the game, it's not VR, is in third person.
Right.
Well, from what I could tell, you could play it in both
Either
VR and just on the PlayStation 4.
So either way, it sounds awesome. I'm sure we'll hear much more about Resident Evil 7 in the near future. I'm Brett Medlock. You can follow me at BrettNLL. Jake, where can they find you?
You can find me at Jake and Sarah.
Greg.
And my most professional Twitter name, @MeForYou, you for me.
Sounds awesome. Talk to you guys later.